hopped on a plane with her two daughters to the Gambia. When Mary got here, she was shocked to see a structure of a building with no paint, no doors, no floors, no roofing, and said, that's all your money, right? So Mary's story is something that we hear every day. The diaspora hears this every day. And when I say the diaspora, I'm not only talking about the Gambians who lived in the United States come back. I'm talking about our brothers and sisters in the United States who want to come to Gambia. But they want to come to Africa. You ask them, I'm going to Africa. What part of Africa are you going? I just want to be in Africa. But Gambia is a chosen country where most of our brothers and sisters, they found connections. They found a common ground. They feel at home. How do we accommodate them? How do we have them to trust to say, I'm going back to Gambia. I'm going back to the motherland. That's how they call here, the motherland, where your mother is from, right? They're very excited about it. They want to come to the motherland. But when they come to the motherland, we have to be able to accommodate them. I'm not saying go to the airport and welcome somebody and say, welcome home, right? We do go to the United States. We acquire visas, we fly and go to the United States, and then we go to the system. They adopted me to be a US citizen. But there are criteria that I met to become a US citizen. And that criteria requires a government that puts a system in place. We have to have a system in place to be able to welcome our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. And this forum here today is beginning that conversation. And I hope that it will change the narrative to whereby we're going to have our brothers and sisters, be them Gambians who migrated to the United States, or be it my children who were born and raised in the United States, or be it my neighbors in America, or folks I went to school with, who are so excited that I'm in the Gambia. And every day they will ask me, can you send me a picture from the Gambia? I don't know what pictures to send them. I tell them, I'm here, but when can I come? I say, just get on the plane, come here, you have a brother in the Gambia. But I don't want them to have a brother and sister in the Gambia. I want them to be able to come on their own, like we do when we go into the United States. So now it's an open, it's equal. It's not gonna be equal, but we can allow them to come into this country based on the system in place and the programs available to them, the tools for them to be able to use to purchase a property in the Gambia like we do in the United States. So I hope that this conversation will change the narrative whereby the diaspora will use the banking services and the banks are willing to do that, to whereby they will open up units within their banks to be able to have the diaspora come through, bank with them, and they will get them a real estate, a reputable real estate, a trustworthy real estate. The commitment of the Gambia, the Association of Gambia Real Estate, they are committed to this. But you know, they also have a problem, whereby the system I'm talking about is not supporting them to be able to do what they're supposed to do. There is no act from the Constitution or from Parliament, I believe, that will protect the real estate agencies in the Gambia to whereby if something goes wrong, they can take it to court, right? So this conversation again today, with them getting themselves together by creating an association, they are serious by confronting the government, conversing with the government. Hopefully they will put the act in place to support them so that, again, the trust will keep going on to whereby a diaspora can come to the bank and say, get me a real estate or a developer to develop my home for me. So on that note, I'll call on the central bank.
No, I'm fine. I just step away. Okay. Ambassador C, Dr. Lamine Drummond, Dr. Paul Mendez, AmCham board members, partners and representatives from AfriCell, Vista Bank, Trust Bank, Unique Group, Real Estate Association, WAVE and other partners, women vendors, diasporans. Ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled to be here at the AmCham's inaugural Diasporan Summit. And this is something I'm going to brag about for years to come, that I was here at the first. I can say now that I was here when AmCham reinvigorated its voice and its efforts to be a voice for American and Gambian businesses and advocate for the private sector here in this country. At the African Growth and Opportunity Act ministerial meeting last December, U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Hay stated, and I quote, "The future is Africa, and engaging with this continent is the key to prosperity for all of us," end quote. At the African Leaders Summit last December, President Biden said, and I quote, "The United States is all in on Africa and all in with Africa. African voices, African leadership, African innovation are all critical to addressing the most pressing global challenges and to realizing the vision we all share, a world that is free, a world that is open, prosperous, and secure," end quote. The private sector is absolutely key to realizing this vision of a prosperous Africa. As such, the U.S. government is committed to supporting private sector investment in Africa. Since last year, the United States has supported and helped close 547 new deals for a total estimated value of $14.2 billion in new two-way trade and investments between the United States and America. But we're here to talk about the Gambia and the growth of the private sector here, which is so essential to the development of this country. Businesses in the Gambia provide goods and services, generate tax revenues to finance essential social and economic infrastructure, and develop new and innovative solutions that help tackle development challenges. While the Gambia has many competitive advantages that entrepreneurs find attractive, such as the country's strategic location to the United States and Europe, a stable economy, and its status as an Anglophone country, many serious challenges hinder your efforts to expand your businesses and create jobs. The lack of infrastructure, the lack of legal framework to operate your businesses, the lack of healthy, educated, and skilled workforce. The U.S. has taken a whole-of-government approach to support the Gambia's efforts to address these constraints to economic growth and private sector investment and expansion. We are helping the Gambian government and the people of the Gambia to, one, enhance democracy and good governance through improving the electoral system to ensure that there are free, fair, and peaceful elections in this country. We are improving the judicial sector training judges, and installing a digital case management system. We're building a robust civil society and helping to professionalize the media so that they can serve as voices to hold leaders accountable. And two, we are investing in the Gambian people through the eradication of malaria, through school feeding programs that aim to improve the nutritional status and literacy levels of school children so they have a fighting chance at taking up the jobs that you create, the good jobs that you, the private sector, will create. And through introducing best agricultural practices to increase yields of smallholder farmers and reduce hunger in this country. And our third pillar is strengthening economic growth here. We are working with the government and private sector to address the country's greatest economic challenges, including an unstable and inefficient electricity supply, and fiscal policy challenges that limit growth. A few years ago, the US government conducted a comprehensive analysis to identify the top constraints to economic growth in this country. Today, I'm very happy to say that through the Millennium Challenge Corporation, the US government is addressing and will address 3 of those top constraints. The first is the unreliable electricity supply. The second is the underutilization of the Gambia River. And the third is weak secondary education and skills training. More and more reliable power is a key driver to nearly every sector, from education to agriculture to tourism to construction. To address electricity constraints, the Millennium Challenge Corporation has a $25 million threshold grant to create a more effective, accountable, and transparent power sector to meet the growing demand for reliable electricity. This project holds huge potential to enable sustained economic growth. At the Africa Leaders Summit last year, President Biden announced that the Gambia is eligible for a Millennium Challenge Corporation compact. Working with the Gambian government, a steering committee formed by the Gambian government, as well as consulting broadly with many of you in this room, the private sector and civil society. The Millennium Challenge Corporation, or MCC, has agreed to address the second 2 major constraints to economic growth, namely inadequate secondary education and skills training and the underutilization of the Gambia River. The MCC is at the very early stages of compact design. I want to emphasize that. Early stages. The MCC Compact is no quick fix. This is a program that will start with in-depth feasibility studies and deep dives into these constraints to identify ways to address them sustainably. Once the projects are developed, the compact will be signed, and the country, in partnership with the MCC, will have 5 years to complete the work. But now we're in the design stage. And in most countries, and I've served in 2, where MCC has made an investment like this, it's taken 18 to 24 months to actually do all the studies necessary. As I said, this is no quick fix. This is a methodical, tried and true approach to sustainable economic growth. We also know that fiscal policy challenges restrict the government's ability to build the necessary infrastructure and enabling environment that encourages private sector investment. The U.S. Department of Treasury has 2 technical assistance projects that are supporting public financial management. One helping with government debt, and the other with budget management. On government debt, the advisor is helping the government reliably issue bonds that the public will buy and to increase the field of investors. The budget advisor works to make budget operations more efficient, effective, and transparent, and to strengthen the linkage between the budget and the government's performance. Moreover, the State Department has supported civil society's efforts to increase transparency in the budgeting process and provided training to National Assembly members on how to hold